World 5, Winter Wonderland. And it's also a very appropriate level to be playing right now because this is sort of what it looks like outside right now. A little bit of snow, tiny bit of accumulation on the ground. It's the ultimate in immersive gameplay. Doubly so because I am actually recording this live this time. You see, the original recording for 5.1 was not at all even remotely close to 100%, so I decided to come back and finally play this game rather than just talking about it ad nauseum. The most appropriate winter-themed fruits, strawberries, as we've learned from Celeste. But the other thing is that there is a reason why I didn't really try to go for 100% in the original playthrough of this level, and that's that it's, well, impossible to get 100% in 5.1. Yeah, somehow Rolling Cat did not actually put in enough collectibles to make that something that you can do. I talked about it a little bit in the very first episode of Purple, but there is some bugginess here. And the funny way that you actually deal with that is by using even more glitches. Whoa, that is close. He's using even more glitches that appear in this same world, 5.3, to compensate for the lack of 100% in this level. Of course, I'll get to there soon enough. Right now, let's just enjoy this very elaborate room guarding one singular donut. The most valuable donut on Earth, or Purple World. So, new type of enemy. These ice guys are pretty much identical. They might actually have a little bit more health than the fire-headed guys that you saw in World 3. But these guys are icy and sad instead of being very angry. Which, yeah. Homing Frisbee still taking them out like nothing, though. Oh, hey, speaking of the fire-headed guys. Okay, yeah, the ice-headed guys definitely have more health. Oh, Homing Frisbee, you are so overpowered in every way except for being able to destroy televisions. This is where the first diamond would normally be. Maybe not the most difficult one to get in the game, but since I've already got it. Oh, see the exclamation point? See the delicious can of soda there? Yeah. Try to be tricky. Yeah. Okay, one more. And now run! Didn't even work. I got one more hit till I lose the Homing Frisbee anyway, so it's fine. Yeah, World 5. This is, even though I do have maximum health, this is as much as you would have at the very end of the game. It is still kind of worth being careful, because this is not an easy set of levels. Fire Frisbee, and I am going to need that to get through those ice blocks at the very early parts of the stage. One of the nice things about World 5 is that it does get a lot snowier here. I mean, it's sort of nice because you... Okay, fine, I'll just tank my way through it then. Yeah, it's sort of nice because much like World 3 had a sort of build-up into getting into the city, this also has a sort of build-up until it gets very, very snowy later on, as you'll see throughout the video. Just go away. I don't want to lose my Fire Frisbee. Man, Fire Frisbee, next to the Homing Frisbee, probably one of the best attack Frisbees out there. Of course, this also does a little bit more, too, making it even more useful. Backtracking, but at least it's some pretty light backtracking, and as soon as I get in here, I'm done with this area forever. Hopefully. We'll see how the rest of this level goes. Oh, it's the homing. Yeah, those light green ones are the ones that actually will maliciously move towards you rather than just rolling back and forth forever. I knew that was coming, and yet I did it anyway. And well, 37%. A lot of collectibles in here, so I suppose it kind of makes sense that some got lost in the shuffle. Then again, how did it actually work that you didn't just have the percentages based on the amount of items that you put into this game? I mean, I suppose it was... I did talk about the landing page for this, for Purple, speaking about how this was supposed to be more of a test than any sort of game proper. Maybe it's more on the back end than what you see on the front end here that's a little bit janky in those ways. Yeah, close. Watch out for evil Purple here. And get in there. Yeah, cool. Oh, hey, another new type of enemy, I guess? Much like the poisonous blobs that are all over the place, you also have these icicles now, which they don't actually hurt you, but they do freeze you in place, making it... They do freeze you in place, making it easier for other enemies to hit you, because you can't take out your frisbee while you're walking around. More fire blocks. I suppose I'll be seeing more of those later. More strawberries. Which reminds me of Celeste. So, that was so close. Here, get over here a little bit farther so I don't have to deal with you. Thwomps, man. Go! Oh my god, it's so close. Cool. Oh, I told you. World 5 is rough. It is not the sort of world that plays nice. This ain't no easy World 1 anymore. You're dealing with the big boys, the sort of boys that wear halves of watermelons on their head. Also, it would be nice if there was some easier way to take out these... It would be nice if there was some easier way to take out these, Thank you. Icicles, but as far as I know, that ain't happening. Just kite them around, and we're good. Well, I mean, we're as good as we're gonna get here. Yeah, I talked about before, I do think that the way that this was designed was sort of through how... That's fine. This was sort of like iteratively designed over time, and this is when Rolling Cat was starting to get real good at the game. So suddenly the basic challenges weren't really, get in there, weren't really cutting it. It was all about going as hard. Oh, come on! Huh? Okay. I'm not even entirely sure what happened there, but fine. This is when Rolling Cat was really trying to create like a real challenge for himself. Oh, it's a good thing I got that checkpoint then. Only a lot more of the level 2. I'll edit out the part where you saw the rest of the level there, so as not to spoil it too hardly. That dark cave was maybe a little bit unfair. Just a little bit, though. That's fine. Oh, and this is actually the only place you can go. Cool. Oh boy. You can just hear, like, the stressfulness compared to... Oh, come on. Spikes. Just hear the stressfulness compared to live commentary versus post-commentary. It is notable. And then here. Slowly. And shoot my way through there so I get a little extra boost. Alright, cool. Now I just gotta watch out for this guy over here. Right. Well, I do a little bit more of an exploration of the level. Like I said, no actual point in getting 100%, but I do at least want to make sure that I do want to at least make sure that I explore everything that I possibly can right now. Just to show off the level. Why? That is a Yume Nikki TV, I'd like to remind you. 2009. Circa 2009 when this game came out. That probably would have been something you know a little bit more about. Yeah. I feel like eating ice cream in the middle of winter might not be the tastiest thing, but, you know, who am I to turn down some Neapolitan? Some sick Neapolitan. Oh. You know if there's any easy way to go get... Well, anyway, that's where you would come in if you didn't go through the inner world, as I guess I'm going to call it now. As if I'm playing Puss again. Yeah, you can only see those... snowflakes when they're actually getting close to you, which which makes it a little bit rough. Secret levels. And there we go. We'll get a little bit better of an idea of what the mid-level actually looks like. And I keep forgetting about that. Just give me the freaking plasma gun so I can get out of here. It also might be that the reason why this didn't have as much time put into making sure that... Yeah, that was close. It also might be that this level just didn't have as much, time in the oven, which is why it didn't have the sort of care that some of the previous levels did. Because, I mean, as good as it is a little bit rougher around the edges. Stuff like having blind jumps in that... Okay. Stuff like having blind jumps in the dark areas might have sort of contributed to... Like, would have probably been fixed if there was a little bit more, like, testing or something. I don't know, it's hard to say. Maybe this is also sort of a bonus level injected into the game pretty late in development, which is why that sort of thing happened. Also, yes, cat demons, which throw around balls of yarn. Balls of yarn that explode into a bunch of bullets! Haha! Oh my god, there's so many of these guys, and they're actually pretty rough to deal with. Same with that. You can see why it's also not the easiest to get 100% in this level with the amount that you are just getting absolutely destroyed by every single enemy in it. I do believe that this dumps me out right over here. Yep. And that's how you get all that. Yeah, it's a good way. I mean, it's actually maybe a little bit of a good thing that I didn't have to go through this level too many times to make sure that... Oh, I was so close to getting both those dodged. Because, God, it would be so difficult to get 100% in this. Yeah, cool. Alright. Back to post-commentary now. That should be a good little explanation of what World 1 looks like. First diamond is just right up on the rooftop here. As I mentioned earlier, probably one of the easiest diamonds to get in the entire game. There's no way you're going to be missing that thing. Second diamond to get is in the mysterious cavern blocked off by those fire blocks. You require the freezer weapon, which I think technically I'm still not supposed to have at this point. It appears first in 5.3 or 5.4, but considering it's so important to this weird double lava cavern, kind of gonna have to explain it this time. Also, hey, wait a second. If there's fire on the ceiling, how is there any sort of snow accumulation at... Wait, yeah, fire on the ceiling, I suppose, is kind of impossible. Anyway, physics are all wacky here. So the freezer works pretty much in the same way as the plasma gun. It is a charging weapon. Fully charged, it gives you 3 seconds of freeze time on an enemy. No actual damage, and as soon as they unfreeze, they'll continue attacking you. But while they're frozen, you can use them as platforms. So in places like this, almost necessary to do, unless you're really feeling confident and want to Goomba stomp on those enemies. It's not something that I wanted to do, which is why I took that cavern nice and slow. Alright. 5-1, pretty rough. 5.3 and a little bit of 5.4, also really rough. So it's nice that we got this little palette cleanser of 5.2 right now. Auto-scrolling level, you get to hear fresh juice once more. And also, as soon as I collect that first collectible there, 25% done already. Nope, nice and short, nice and easy. Really, I think that you'd be able to 100% this no problem at all as long as you're not sight reading this level. If you weren't aware of where all the collectibles were, it could be a little bit difficult to grab them before everything scrolled off screen. But aside from that, it's really like the cat demons and other kind of somewhat difficult-ish enemies here are your only real obstacles. Hate those guys. Anything that shoots out projectiles is generally pretty irritating to have to deal with. And those demon guys have a lot of health to chew through. I do think that green block there is just a bunch of extra hearts, which I don't really need right now. Also another, for some reason, I guess, a staple of the auto-scrolling level is the checkpoint storage house. I don't know, ask Rolling Cat about that. Give me my Pepsi, and then, oh no. Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter too much. It's not like I'm going to be able to fall faster right now with the way that it's scrolling. Grab that donut, and already 100%. And, oh, do you think that is the first appearance of the robot bat? Or, I don't know, very tired Bloodshot Eyes bat? You'll be seeing a bunch of those guys later. And I'll be probably talking about how they're appearing and what they do in the level, because this one's already over. 5-2. Nice, simple, and easy. Then that opens up 5-3 and 5-4 at the same time. So that's going to be... Oh, yeah, all right. Oh, hey, and it's the homing frisbee guy. You can already see how difficult it is to dodge that dude's stuff. Thankfully, I can shoot my frisbee much faster than he can shoot his, so... And the homing isn't nearly as intense on Purple Guy as it is on enemies, so... That's okay with me. I mean, I think that... Oh, come on! Alright, well, I mean, I could take this guy out pretty easily, but I also have 6 lives, so I think I can just dump one. I don't even need the fire frisbee right now. Anyway, 5-3. I'm just going to go 5-3, 5-4 for the sake of convenience. You can really do either one of them. They got the teleporting there. Or whichever one you wish to choose. So... 5-3. This, and I would say probably 5-1, are definitely going to be the levels that I would most describe as a thing in this world. That's your first appearance of Slippy Slidey Ice Physics, as you're on those gigantic ice cubes that look like somebody just took them straight out of the ice cube tray. Sure, why not? And also a nice fully snowed up background, which is pretty nice to look at. And probably the snow, which is going to kill the bitrate on this video. I'm sorry, that's how YouTube do it. Funny thing about 5-3 is that if you didn't really realize exactly how that pink platform that brought me up to the upper half of the level worked, you would miss out on, what, 90% of the collectibles in this level? It's weirdly lopsided. Especially because as you get to the second part of the level, you'll realize that it really is... It's huge, it's expansive, a lot of different things to find. But as it turns out, most of the collectibles are right in the first half. And in fact, secrets on secrets on secrets. I mean, you do get extra lives and everything there, so it's like this is supposed to be part of the level clearly, but at the same time, oh man, that took me a while to find. Definitely not helped by the Slippy Slidey Ice Physics, also not... Ice Physics in Purple are kind of weird. I mean, it's sort of hard to explain exactly how they work, but pretty much it just increases your character's speed, like even after they move off of it until they touch regular ground again. It's very unusual. But it also makes them a little bit well, as all ice physics are, a little bit unwieldy to actually, you know, travel on in any way. Alright, so first off, going to be checking out each one of these platforms because there's obviously a second part of the area to be going to. And, you know, I still don't have nearly the, what, 80%, 90% of the collectibles that I'm going to get in this area just yet. Now you see a future little preview of an area, as well as a screwdriver, which is good because obviously a little screwdriver area that I need to get into here. I like the little purple snowman guys in the background, but where did they get... What exactly are they using for the antenna on those things? That's the major question that I gotta ask here. Because that is clearly not made of snow. And, no, maybe it's like a tree? A lollipop? Nah, that would be effectively the same thing. Alright, alright. couple areas left to kind of check out here. Ooh, and I do think that on the left, well, first off, and some more sweet treats. Enough to, yeah, 80% right there. I was correct. But on the left side here, the first real appearance of the freezer. There, finally. 2 levels now, which you could use it before you could ever find it proper. But here, the true place where it belongs. Where you can find it without, you know, kind of feeling like you're cheating. Or at least going out of order, in the way this thing works. Ah, this cave. Not only is it a good little look at the ice cave sort of frozen over texture, it's also a good example of how exactly you're going to be using ice physics to jump farther than you normally would be able to. Because that's the main use of ice. And now, as if ice physics weren't enough, wind. Yep, getting pushed back constantly. And it's not all the time, but it's most of the time that you're going to be pushed back by wind in this level. Which makes, say, not falling off of platforms difficult, but also dodging stuff like those bullets difficult. Ah, yeah. First appearance of the 2 most irritating platformer sort of mainstays in one level. And it's always kind of funny because ice physics and wind and stuff like that, I would say most people probably not too keen on, and yet they still continue to appear in platformers to this day. I mean, God, it was freaking Amiga Power that coined the term Slippy Slidey Ice World, which I've been using in this video here. And it's like, to this day, still being used. I guess it's just something that's really easy to program. You know, you take your normal momentum and then just continue to have it when you're on the ground. And same with have movement continue in one direction constantly when it comes to wind. But it's like you see them so much. Anyway, the real thing right now that I should be talking about is that you saw as soon as I entered that one door with all the hearts in there, exited it to find that some of those strawberries above me have respawned. Ain't that weird? Yep, I mentioned earlier that there was a way to make up for the fact that you couldn't get 100% in 5.1 because you can get way more than 100% in 5.3. And that's useful later on. Obviously, the only other things that I had to get there were 4 extra collectibles, 3 you could see I required a fireball to get, which there's a bunch of opportunities in this level to do so. You'll see it in the I guess, secondary outtake section when I'm getting the diamonds. Whatever, it'll come up there. Where I can find, like, a fireball. But right now, I just decide to show off the glitch a little bit to get 100%, rather than doing it proper. I mean, look, you get the same experience either way. I'm not cheating technically. I mean, well, technically you have to cheat. Hey, look, exclamation points. Don't fall in that. Also, don't do what I'm doing here and jump into every one of the spikes as they're coming up. A lot of really good play there. Well, I didn't die, so it's fine. It's fine. It's all totally gravy. But yes, this will not be the last appearance of wind and ice physics, so look forward to that in the future. Neither will it be the last appearance of cat-based enemies with projectiles in wraparound levels. Giant stairs as well. Or tacks that rise up out of the ground. I think that the way that those tacks actually work is that they don't hurt you until they are fully out of the ground. But at the same time, it's still really difficult to not get hit by them sometimes. And one DaVinci Crash later, I'm back. Man, it's like recording Celeste again. Speaking of which, probably get through that door pretty quick. Speaking of which, still gotta finish Celeste. I mean, looking at all these snowy mountainous areas does remind me of that. there's a collectible. There's the last collectible. As you remember, there were only 3 before. I required 4 to get 100% in the level. Gotta work with both ice and wind to be able to get that one. Also, for some reason, conveyor belts appearing because I guess the localized version of ice physics is a good way to cap off the level. I don't know. They're just there. And now for the diamonds, which is actually less about the diamonds and more about showing off some of the other parts of 5-3. I mean, I am still going to be getting the diamonds, but, you know, also I never went in this house to show you that you can get the fireball, and there's a nice little television with a fireplace on it, which is... sure, why not? 5-3 is an interesting sort of level, where there's stuff where there aren't collectibles, per se, but there's a lot more parts of the level to sort of explore. For example, this upper area, which will come into play a little bit later, let's just say. Also, look at those ice physics just completely screwing up my jump. And also there's an example of an uncharged up Frost Blast, or Freezer Blast, whatever this weapon is called. Yeah, if I grab the Fireball, it might be useful here, but like I said, you'll see a little bit more of this area later on. Aside from that, there's also this little area that I never checked out. A bunch of chickens and another little house. But if you don't go up to the place with the bouncing mines, you'll see another arrow pointing downwards. Since this area. But what I want to do is get in here. There was also that part on the upper part of 5-3 with all the electricity that I never went to, and that's right here. Which is another example of a fire frisbee, or a fire-based weaponry that you can get, and the first diamond. Yeah, if you saw that door and were wondering, wait, what's over there? You're not showing me. It's just the diamond. Then sends you right back. And the other diamond to get, and this is also another sort of important thing, freezing these chickens, and it's right here. Now, you might think, why didn't you just go from the top and then get it there? Well, I also wanted to show off that that was a sort of alternate area, because that comes into play with something else later. So anyway, beating 5-3 now opens up a sort of faded castle? Now, it's there, but you can't actually get to it just yet. That will be after I beat 5-4. That's right. They give you the option of going to one level or the other, but you do have to go to both to open up. Let's just call it the Illusory Castle, which is a name that I think fits it pretty well when you get there. All right, more slippy slidey ice physics, more wind. But not the easiest sort of level layout, unless your jumps are getting screwed up by the wind. We just need to get into this frozen pipe. Yep, you guessed it, it's an underwater level. And also a frozen pipe level, you know. So watch out for that. They'll burst and cost you a lot of home repair. Anyway, frozen version of a pipe level. You get this extremely green and teal background, which is definitely something else. But the alternate first introduction of the freezer right there. Where you're shown sort of the... aside from the ability to create platforms, the other major usage of it. Incapacitating otherwise invincible enemies. That's right, these little Rip Van Fish dudes you normally can't kill at all unless you happen to get an invincibility power-up. But if you freeze them, they can't hurt you and you can pass through them without any harm. Oh, and despite having the fire and ice blocks there, doesn't really matter. As soon as you go through this pipe, you get right on the other side of it anyway. Oh, and I didn't show off that exit there, but it just leads to the checkpoint for the level in a dark and stormy atmosphere, which is more irritating to walk around in than anything else. Yeah, that will definitely come up a lot later. The ability for the Freezer to deal with enemies that are otherwise impossible to do anything about. You remember the homing mines that were around in some of the other levels? It's like, yeah, Freezer's great against those things. And I do think they even make an appearance in the Illusory Castle, so look forward to that. Yeah, the Torpedo Teds here don't leave a poison trail, they just leave a cold trail. So you can get hit by that, you'll be frozen for a couple seconds, but at least you're not dead. Which is great because I'm only at 1 HP right now, thanks to that spike hallway there. A little hard to see with the amount of stuff going on in the background. Also, I tried to avoid that, but like I said, it's pretty difficult to deal with the... Now that's just cruel. Pretty difficult to deal with the spikes that raise out of the floor and ceiling a lot of the times. I want to say that those things do more damage to me than just about anything else in the game. I can't wrap my head around exactly how they work for some reason. Alright, given 2 alternate paths, one with a mine, which dealt with pretty easily. Cluster Frisbee's good for doing that, if nothing else. And then another one with more spikes. And yeah, then the level ends with giving you a whole bunch of hearts. It's as if Rolling Cat knew, hey, this might be a short level, but it is not an easy one. Deal with this guy. Thankfully, not too much more pipe action after this, because this is the last part of the level. Permanently windy, so... Permanently frozen, permanently windy. So, you know, the best of both worlds. Very, very slow. And with just the green regular slime enemies here to be in your way... Thankfully, not too much more difficult obstacles, because otherwise that would just be nightmarish to deal with. And slowly... You can see I do go a little bit faster as I'm on the ice blocks, but that's just because... They're almost not ice blocks, they're more like speed-up blocks. It's so weird. And that fully unveils the castle. Let's get right down there, right into it, because this is an interesting level. First off, interesting music. Second off, Illusory Castle. Get it? Yeah, that's going to be coming up a whole lot. And as you can see there, single collectible worth 10%, so not too much to see in this entire level. In fact, with everything being frozen over like this, you are going to be kind of speeding through to a certain extent, which is kind of fun by itself. What's not fun, though, is dealing with the... let's just call him Kamek. He's basically Kamek. Teleports around, shoots bullets at you, in the exact same way as the Magic Koopa from Super Mario World does. Really, really annoying. And I do think that technically you can kill him, but... he's got so much health and he teleports all around the place, it's not worth it. Hey, there's those homing things that I was talking about. And with a tremendous amount of snowflakes around here, that's doubly irritating. If you happen to accidentally, say, free one of those spikes, at the same time that one of those homing mines is after you, you might as well kiss all of your health goodbye. But yes, you can freeze those spikes, which is pretty helpful, but something that I wasn't able to show off there. That spike, I don't even know how it happened, but he just dodged around it like crazy. I don't even know how that worked. Cat blocks. So these little blocks with the cat faces on, they reappear after a couple seconds, and if they reappear on top of you, you're dead. They can also kill invincible enemies too, one of the other few things to do so, but given how they appear in the game, generally not going to have too much of a chance to check that out. And yes, the freeze ray also does work on the Kamek, so keep that in mind, it's pretty useful. Oh boy, the laser boots. And what might be the only thing even approaching a somewhat use of the laser boots? And also, for some reason, a showcase of the various types of blocks in the game. And slimes? I don't know, themed room. A lot of the collectibles you're going to be getting in this level are going to be hidden in one of those brown blocks that you can hit multiple times in the corner of one of the areas. You can speed through this place pretty fast, but it will kill you. Taser working out just amazingly still. What a great weapon. I like the background in the windows. Sort of reminds me of Cave Story. And nope, not even dealing with that. And one of the few hidden blocks that are in the level, 60%. 2 more blocks left to find. Yeah, you can get through. Physics screwing up because of the ice physics there. Frisbee not actually knowing where to home back to. But, yeah, you can actually get through that area previously with the mushrooms in it without taking damage. I just said no, and Castlevania knocked back my way through it. Like a scumlord. Yeah, but what do you want from me? This level's kind of tough as it is, especially to get 100% in. Because you do have to be looking around a lot. And for some reason, in the window there, you can see a bunch of the constellations appearing. I don't know. Oh, this is an original Super Mario Bros. World 8 thing, where if you go down the wrong one, it will continuously loop you back to the beginning. Like I said, Illusory Castle. It does sort of play on that theme a little bit. Yep, infinite sort of hallway there again until you realize that you're not actually making any progress forward. Then gives you a ladder back. Nope, still not doing this. Too difficult. And yes, I did know about that. Which is good, because otherwise you wouldn't get 100%. Very tricky, Rolling Cat. Very, very tricky. And yes, I was staying near the front of this scrolling area here, because what would happen is that Kamek would appear in front of me in a place where he would despawn. So now he's not bothering me, thereby trivializing the entire challenge of this level. Do I feel good about myself? Absolutely. Because let me tell you, this is kind of rough to go through if you have a Magic Koopa hounding you the entire way. Especially when you're looking at these like luchador guys shooting bullets at you all over the place as well. Alright, that's the 100% run. Still got a proper boss to fight, and one of the more difficult bosses in the game. I mean, being that this is the second to last world, you'd kind of expect that. Let's see. Oh, come on! I couldn't at least keep my plasma gun for the upcoming fight. Whatever, fine. And yes, this is how I know all of the names of the bosses. A very weird way to present it, but hey, if nothing else, I'm just glad to know what the names of the bosses are. Also, the idea that Flame Eye has a jumping animation is just ridiculous. Oh boy, fell. Let's go. And there he is. So, Fel, not only does he have the maximum amount of health that can even fit on that bar, he is just horrible to fight. I mean, for example, he's got multiple phases. And this first phase, if you get hit once, you're going to get hit multiple times because he freezes you in place. Yeah, he still plays with the whole, like, frozen castle theme of the place, but he's also got a lot more abilities than that. This is just phase 1. Also, don't even try jumping on his head, or, well, hitting him too much because he'll just teleport away. It's annoying. Trying desperately not to get hit by any of the projectiles here, which worked because phase 2. So the Fel version that is receiving the ball is going to be the one that you can actually hit, and the other one is going to be shooting at you at the same time. So, you know, this is all just very fair. Easiest way to deal with this, stay underneath one of them, and then when the ball starts coming to him, shoot it. Now, another phase. So he will just rapidly switch back and forth between the two illusionary fells, and when he switches, he will move backwards, sort of as if he's dodging you. Obviously, the one that's not flashing is the one you're trying to hit. Of course, with his erratic movements, he's more than likely to just accidentally, teleport directly into you, so look out for that. Or don't, because it's very hard to tell exactly how he's going to be moving. Alright, final phase. Just shooting one of these giant things against the wall. The idea, I guess, would be to, be dodging around this, but instead I'm just the Goomba stomping on his head, which is a very cheesy way to deal with this, but this is the sort of battle that kind of requires it to be kind of cheesy. He's a rough fight. Like, way more mechanics than any other boss up to this point, which is sort of crazy. But also it really does feel like you're starting to get to the end of the game, so I can appreciate that. Of course, and if you did see my boss rush video fighting against him, if you have a plasma gun, it suddenly becomes a lot easier. Not a tremendous amount easier, because you still have to dodge the shots in the first phase, but a lot more simple to deal with. Alright, and then, of course, there's the bonus level. Which, first off, here's where you get the screwdriver. But second off, the real challenge of doing this entire thing is not so much getting the screwdriver and getting some sort of fire here. It's actually working your way back up over that huge wall at the start of the level, at the start of this section of 5-3. That's the most difficult part. And that I didn't even show you because it took so long. So many attempts at freezing enemies. So much, getting frustrated how the wind was working. This is not a bonus level that's worth actually unlocking. But that's what it looks like when you do it. And like I said, I'll spare you the 20 minutes of freezing enemies and jumping on them. And then freezing them again because I fell off due to the wind. Oh, it's just the worst. Anyway, bonus level. Your standard, pretty nice, simple thing. It doesn't really matter because it's like 5 seconds long regardless. Oh, those cat blocks. They're fun, but at the same time, they also present just such a huge danger whenever you see them. Yeah, pick and choose whatever the level you want to go into with. I got the second best. So that's cool, at least.